Is there a devil or an evil one? Hey guys, I wanted to kind of do a little talk on, this devil or evil one that we people say that is in existence, right? So some of the things on that I wanted to discuss was it came up because it was an experience that I had, which I shared in another video. But with the devil and the evil one comes from being separate from source, and it's a belief system that we take up because we're taught and believe that we are sinners and that there's an evil one outside of us that makes things happen. And so when it's really all us, right, we're the contrasters from source when we're in this state of being. So we're sifting and sorting through a lot of things, and then we manifest and we create from that place. And so that brings us into the reality and experience of it that we have, that we're creating it from. Now the thing with the churches in that belief system, why that is not very helpful, because one, you don't look at your own self and you think something's outside of yourself, so that brings you into victimhood. And so that lowers your energy and vibration into those realms where you become a victim, and so you're attracting things that's in alignment with the victimhood. Secondly, it lowers your vibration and separation from source, because all that there is love and abundance and happiness and joy and bliss, right? And so when you're believing in that, that's fear that there's something outside of you. And so you're creating from that, separating yourself further from source, right? And so that brings you down. And when we do that, we're allowing ourselves to be open to that, right? And so a lot of religions will do that based on the perception and belief that there is something outside of you. Because why would you do something that's not love? For the experience of it, right? That's part of the coming into this realm, is to come in for the experience, right? And so part of that plays into, the religion, why they believe that and why they put that on people and why they train you into that. And so it helps with the separation of who you truly are, so you can be in the role. But it actually puts you into the space of fear, and you can't be in fear and love at the same time. They're on both opposite streams of the consciousness. And it's limiting in your belief systems. Now, the thing is, when you're believing that there's something outside of you, guess what you're doing? You're creating it, because you're adding energy to it. And so you're going to have the experience of something evil outside of you, right? Versus looking at yourself as, oh, I'm manifesting this, I'm creating this. And so that means I can change it, because I'm not a victim, I'm a manifester. And so Abraham Hicks talks about that, right? And so from bringing that into the picture, we're allowed to and able to transform our life and our situations. We're not stuck with it, right? So when we have, the belief that there is an evil or devil one, which doesn't exist, only when you create it, as part of your experience, it can be for certain different reasons, and so my experience with the person yesterday, he got very angry when I told him that from my experience, they don't exist, right? And from being on the other side of with source, they don't exist. It's only when we're here in the contrast that we're creating of it, from it, to be part of it, to experience it, to know it from that point of view, which is sifting through and sorting through all this stuff of what is and what isn't love in comparison to what is, which is where we are in the timeline. So, and the book talks about that in a lot of the channelings. And so, like, he was fighting. When we do that, we're actually fighting for our belief systems. And so when we fight for our belief systems that there is an evil or devil one, then we're creating that. And so we're creating those experiences to show up for us, right? And so with that being said, he had shared the experience that he created that, right? And so, but at the same time, it prevented him from going to a certain place, which is actually a good thing. And sometimes we can manifest things like that, which can help prevent us from going somewhere, because if we do go somewhere, it may end up being harmful for us or for another person if we do that, and so it may be in the way or purpose that it's a good thing, right? And not always, got the birds flying around here, not always being a bad thing, right? So it really depends on the situation. And I got a squirrel over here on my side. Um, so yeah, it really depends on the situation, but there really is no devil or evil one outside of you. You're the one that's creating all these things. This is why we come here and what we're doing in the experience of it. We're in the contrast. Anything and everything else that isn't love exists here, and we can create any and all of it based on where we are. And so it's the separation, and the further away we come from source, the more separation that we are, that we have, that we'll be experiencing it on those different levels. And so a lot of people will even experience that, when they cross over the near-death experience, that they'll have the experience of hell, because that's your fear. You have to go through that in order to go to home, to love. You can't take that with you. You have to get that and rid of it and shed it. And so it's not until you're ready to give that up that you will then pass into heaven. It's not like a waiting and holding cell like people, purgatory is what they call it. No, it's not purgatory. It's there because it's a belief system that doesn't fit into love, and so you have to get rid of it and let it go so you can go home, right? It's not like a holding cell or purgatory, which a lot of people want to believe it is, but it's actually not. Which, and I love the fact that I had the near death experience, because like a lot of this has been cleared up for me, that I can see and share with you guys, because a lot of it is not factual. It's a belief system, and when we hold those belief systems, we're going to experience it. So you're going to experience, those things outside of you. But if you're able to tune in, to source, your divine connection, you're going to see that it's not. And then vibrate with the energy of vibration of love, right? And so you're going to see the contrasts of where you are showing up for you, to see whether it is love or not, which is a sifting through and sorting through, because we add to it, which is the whole picture um, of the situation of life, what we're creating, right? And so we sift through a lot of things based on where we are, to go through it. And everybody's going to go through those situations, right? So everybody's going to go through similar situations at some point in their whole lifetime, which is a timeline, no matter if it was like your past life or a future life or this life. We're all going to experience something relative or along the lines of it to have that experience. None of us is going to not experience it, right? We're all going to have the experience of abuse, shame, guilt, doubt, hatred, anger, love, joy, bliss, happiness, illness, wellness. We're all going to have all those through all and every timeline that we have in the experience, right? We're not going to go without. Nobody's left behind. Nobody has no experience of anything, because we are all one. We're all on all levels, right? And so we're all going to have the experience. We're all equal. We're not separate. We're not lower or higher than, and we're not anything other than source, which is love, which is a dynamic self, right? And so there is no devil or evil one unless you create it, right? And that's being separate from source. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, drop them below. And if I have anything to add, I'll make a different video, because I know sometimes I'll forget and leave out things, and they'll be like, you should have said this, or you should have said that, or said this, and I'll forget, but I'll just make another video on it. So hopefully that helps. Happy journeys.